What up, everybody? Today I wanted to bring you guys through a training day, also a full day of eating on my training day. So to start off the morning, I put out all of my pills for the day. We got about 30 pills. As you see, we got a lot of stuff laid out here. Started off, super digestive enzyme. I take one of these with every single meal. Just helps break down my food. Magnesium glycinate, probiotic, helps with my gut health. Iron, when I'm eating a little bit lower calories, sometimes I don't get enough iron in my diet, so sometimes I'll supplement that. Turmeric extract, vitamin D3 and K2, fish oil, vitamin B complex, NAC, citrus bergamot, vitamin C, D-limonin. This helps with my digestion, multivitamin, astragalus, heart support, and a liver support. So I got 8 pills in my hand right now. Typically I take anywhere between like 4 to 8 pills at a time. Obviously when you're taking this amount of pills, it's a lot. So I'm not gonna do one at a time. Let's get on to my first meal of the day. So I know a lot of you are gonna find this weird, but my first meal of the day is chicken. And the reason being that chicken is part of my pre-workout meal. And when I first wake up in the morning, I eat my pre-workout meal and then I go lift. So I kind of swap some of my meals around. I do have an actual breakfast meal with eggs that you guys will see later in the day. On my rest days, I'll actually eat my breakfast meal first. So I'm gonna show you right now what I'm about to eat. We started off with 165 grams of chicken. It says 168. Sometimes I add a little bit more. It's not a big deal. Honestly, sometimes there's little pieces of fat in the chicken that I end up cutting off anyway. So the couple extra grams doesn't really make a difference. 225 grams of jasmine rice. When I weigh out my meat and my rice, this is cooked weight. And 1 banana. Pre-workout meal is 695 calories, 58 grams of protein, 91 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat. Every time I sit down to eat, I like to watch a TV show, so I throw one up on my phone. First meal of the day down. I know when it comes to meal prepping, it's a pain. Personally, I don't like cooking chicken. 1, it grosses me out. 2, sometimes I mess it up. You know, obviously cooking as a whole takes a lot of time. I try to mitigate the time that I would be cooking by ordering meal preps. So I order pre-made chicken in bulk, pre-made beef in bulk, pre-made jasmine rice in bulk. We have another fridge and freezer in our mudroom, which is where I keep all my stuff. Got my chicken down there. Got my rice right here. And I get all this stuff from Eat Clean Bro. There's a bunch of different meal prep companies out of there. I've tried majority of them. The best one that I have personally found is Eat Clean Bro. They were more of a local company that would ship in like the tri-state area. They literally drive a truck and drop your food all fresh. But recently they went nationwide, which is cool. So even if you live out of the tri-state area, like for example, Cody lives in Florida. He recently ordered meals to his house from Eat Clean Bro. So if you guys are looking for maybe some simplification in your dieting process, go to eatcleanbro.com, use my promo code Lance210. You get 10% off of your order. That link is of course in the description down below in every single video that I post. Not only that, but the supplement brand that I use for majority of my products, you know, my multivitamin, my probiotic, my pre-workout, my protein powders, firstform.com. If you click the link in my description down below as well, my promo code's automatically attached to that. You get free shipping. With that being said, let's move on to my intra-workout drink. So for my intra-workout, basically this is a drink that I drink throughout my lift. It consists of essential amino acids, hydration, which is a blend of a bunch of different electrolytes, you know, potassium, magnesium, chloride, sodium. And then the last thing is a pump formula. So I like to blend that all into this bottle right here, sip on it throughout my lift. Of course, when you're working out and you're sweating, you lose a lot of your electrolytes. So I just like to replenish those. Just get a little funnel, my EAAs in, pump formula, and last but not least, electrolytes. I just shake that all up, and we're good to go. Next up is pre-workout. Today I'm gonna be using Project One, which is First Form's full spectrum pre-workout. It has 6 grams of citrulline malate in it, 5 grams of creatine, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, 2.5 grams of betaine, 2 grams of glycerol, a gram of tyrosine, 300 milligrams of caffeine, 300 milligrams of alpha GPC, 200 milligrams of L-theanine, a bunch of other stuff in here as well. It's really good. Gives me a great pump. I feel great. Energy's good. This flavor is berry lemonade. Throw in a scoop of that. You might be wondering, why do you weigh every single thing out? So for example, see how it says 24 grams on the scale right now? A serving size of this is actually 27 grams. Now look, you're never gonna get like a perfect scoop. So, you know, I'm gonna go and add, you know, the 3 extra grams that I'm basically missing right now. Boom, and we're good to go. Let's get to our workout. We're about to do a chest and tricep workout. So to start off my chest and tri day, I do dumbbell bench press. I warm up with 2 lightweight sets. I just try to get 20 reps each time, get some blood flow, and then we progressively go up in weight, jump into the heavier weights. To be honest, I do like 7 to 8 sets of this. The 2 first sets don't really count. When it comes to actual working sets of doing heavier weights, I do 6 sets. So I do 3 going up and then 3 going back down. When I go back down in weight, I try to really focus on like going slow and controlled, getting that hypertrophy. So every time I do an exercise, I kind of just go to failure. That's how I like to personally train. I try to get at least like 10 to 12 reps, but if I can get 15, I'm gonna go for the 15. $120s, they're a I usually can only get like anywhere from like 4 to 6 reps on average. Haven't been able to go up. I've been stuck on it for over a year now. So I did 2 warm-up sets, 3 working sets going up in weight. Now I'm gonna do 3 working sets going down in weight. So typically I'll do 90, 80, 70, go a little slower and more controlled, and just go to failure, of course. So next up, I'm gonna do a tricep push down with ropes. I prefer the separate ropes over something like this, for example, because this obviously moves, and like you could be, you know, pulling down harder on one side, not even realizing and moving it. So to be completely even, I prefer using the separate ones. So what I'm doing right now is a drop set. I usually do like a 2 to 3 drop during one set. Just try to rep out, go down in weight. Just burn out as much as I can. So I usually do this for about 4 sets, and then I move on to another chest exercise. Next up, we got cable flies for chest. I got a tricep crossover. I just have nothing on here. I just grab this part and then grab the right first, grab the left, pull the left under, kind of just pop my chest out, and then I do that, slowing the way up. Next up is incline chest press. Next up is a close grip tricep press on the Smith machine. This works really well. I go very nice and slow and controlled. You feel the burn. So this is one of those type of movements where form is very key, because if your form slacks, you're gonna be hitting your chest and not your triceps. So I try to keep my elbows close in, even though it's pretty difficult for me. I've never been able to really keep my elbows close in, but I try my best. So what helps with that for me is turning my wrist on like an angle, and you'll kind of see me do that in the next set. But going very slow and controlled helps me keep all that focus and attention on the tricep and not using any of my chest. Next up is this decline chest press machine. My last tricep exercise is typically on a push down machine that's at the end, but unfortunately it's been broken for the past like 2 weeks, so I'm just gonna do a V-bar push down. Hour and 40 minutes, 1,000 calories burned. Most of my workouts last anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours on average. All right, next up I have cardio, which I do an hour of cardio on the treadmill. It's very low intensive, pretty easy to do. It's 3 incline, 3 speed. I barely sweat while doing it. Sometimes I will, but that'll get me another like 300 to 400 calories. And I try to shoot for anywhere from like 15 to 20,000 steps a day. And 1 hour is complete. So when I'm talking about calories burned on the watch, obviously that is not 100% accurate. It's really only basing it off of my heart rate. So I could be burning more, I could be burning less. And obviously when you're working out a muscle throughout the day, you're burning more calories trying to recover that muscle. So that also doesn't take account for that. So I just want to clarify a little bit with that situation. Whew, had a great workout, burned a ton of calories. As you can imagine, after being there for about 3 hours, I'm starving. So you're gonna go home, eat my post-workout meal. So some pretty cool information for those of you who don't know. The average person burns anywhere from 1,300 to 2,000 calories a day doing absolutely nothing. Like that could be you sitting on your ass all day long and doing nothing but breathing. Now there's a lot of factors that play into this as to you burning more than somebody else. Could be sex, height, age, how much muscle mass you have, a lot of different factors. For me personally, I actually got this tested less than a year ago. I basically had to like breathe into this tube for like 10 minutes straight. I'm a little bit above the 2,000 calories burned a day just doing absolutely nothing. So if we take the amount of calories that it says that I burn on my watch, for example, and just add 2,000 onto that, that's pretty much what I can eat. And as long as I stay under that, I can still be in like a deficit. Now, as I said, this is not accurate, so you can't go to the T with it, but it's like a good range, right? I eat the same thing every day, so this isn't a concern for me. I'm pretty much like always in a deficit. But to give you an example, it says I burnt 1,720 calories so far today. You add 2,000 onto that, that's 3,700 calories that I could eat and be at maintenance level. If I eat under that, I'll lose weight. If I eat above that, I'll gain weight. Now, like, it's only 4 p.m. I'm still gonna burn more calories throughout the day. I'm actually gonna come back to the gym later today and hit a shoulder workout with my friend. I'm not gonna record that, but you know, typically a shoulder workout, I'll burn like another 500 calories. Current steps for the day is almost 12,000. One last thing, the reason I'm explaining all this is because I eat a lot of food throughout the day. And there's gonna be a lot of people commenting saying, how can you eat so much food but still lose weight and get shredded? It's because I'm burning way more calories than I'm eating. So this is person dependent. For example, Julia doesn't eat nearly as many calories. She in fact eats about half the amount of calories that I eat on a daily basis. She's around like 1,600 calories. I'm eating about 3,200 to 3,300 a day on my training days. You know, as I said, this is very person dependent and how much you actually burn compared to what you're eating. You're probably confused as to why I'm going back later today to do shoulders. My push days usually consist of chest, tries, and shoulders, but sometimes I'm pretty exhausted after my chest and tri workout, and I know I have my hour of cardio to do. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just come back later and hit my shoulders. So sometimes I'll do that. Or sometimes I'll pair my shoulders with my leg day. So it really depends on kind of how I'm feeling. I mean, I was already at the gym for 3 hours. So we're gonna be at the gym for like 4 hours today. I know for a lot of people that is very unnecessary and overkill. I always push myself to the limits no matter what it is in life. So just because I do something doesn't mean you necessarily should when it comes to something like that. You know what I mean? Hey, if you enjoy it enough and you want to, feel free. But I do understand it is a lot. I do take 2 rest days a week. My rest days are Thursday and Sunday. Those are active rest days. So I'm still doing my cardio, getting my steps in. I'm just not going and, you know, lifting weights and breaking down any muscle. Those days are essential for recovery. Give your nervous system a break as well. On those days, I'll try my best to not take any caffeine. Also get a little bit of a break there. So I've been lifting for about 11 years now. And to be honest, for the first like 9-10 years, I wouldn't take rest days. I just recently started taking rest days. I would work out every single day. Definitely not the best thing to do. I've made a lot more progress over the past year actually taking my rest days. So learn from my mistake, take your rest days. They're very necessary. Post-workout meal consists of 190 grams of chicken, 360 grams of jasmine rice, and 150 grams of pineapple.
They are oblivious, which is why...
Of course, very.
Second meal is 865 calories, 68 grams of protein, 121 grams of carbs, and 10 grams of fat. It is now a few hours later. I typically like to eat every 3 hours, so I'm about to make my meal. But before I get into that, I do want to say, if you were somebody who was relatively new to the gym, just started working out, trying to build some muscle and size, it is a very long process. And I don't say that to discourage you. I say that to just give you the honest truth. Now look, there are some genetic monsters out there who can put on a ton of size very easily. It just comes easier to them. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. I've been working out for the past 11 years. I will say though, I've made the most progress within the past 2 to 3 years that I've ever made, simply because I got my diet locked in properly, and I'm actually putting my body in a state where it can grow. Before, when I was eating very bad, not really knowing what to do, not taking in enough protein, it was a lot harder to make progress in terms of gaining actual muscle size. Now look, anybody can get shredded if they eat a calorie deficit, but to gain muscle as well, it's a whole nother avenue. You have to properly make sure you're taking in enough calories, make sure you're eating enough protein, enough fats, enough carbs. You don't have to have a lot of muscle to be able to get shredded. Anybody can get shredded. Now, obviously, when you do get shredded, you don't have a lot of size too. You might feel flat, you might feel very small. If I have one tip for anybody out there, whether you're just starting at the gym or you've been at it for years, learn how to eat properly. You will make the most progress you would have ever made in your life. Personal recommendation for taking in protein, at least 1 gram per pound that you weigh. Now look, if you're overweight and you weigh like 280 pounds, do I think you should be taking in 280 grams of protein? No. But I think for any male, majority of males could be taking in like 200 grams of protein. Julia takes in about like 150 grams a day. I take in 250 grams. Is that a little much? Maybe, but it works for me. My body handles it very well. And also going back to this morning with all the pills that I take, I know a lot of people think that's overkill as well. I do what works for my body. Everybody is different. I've gotten blood work done a lot. Every single time I get it done, I'm extremely healthy. Everything is good. I've even as of recently gotten all my vitamin levels checked as well. Everything's good. Now, if those levels were skewed very, very high, obviously I'd make note of that and maybe stop taking those vitamins. So like I said before, just because something may work for me doesn't mean necessarily it's gonna work for you. So although you could take advice from other people, and advice is great, learn what works for your body. And just like anything else, that comes with time and consistency. Bodybuilding is one of those things that you can't really cheat. Look, of course, there's steroids, right? You could take steroids, but listen, you could take all the drugs in the world, but if your diet is not right, you are one, not gonna be shredded, no matter how many drugs you're taking. And 2, if your gut's all fucked up, you're constipated for a week, you're constantly bloated, then you're not absorbing the calories and nutrients properly, and you're gonna be missing out on a lot of potential gains. At the end of the day, diet is key. I know a ton of people who are on steroids, and I know a ton of people who are not taking steroids, and a lot of the people that aren't taking steroids look better than the people that are, just because those motherfuckers don't know how to eat. There is nothing more anabolic than food. Take all the drugs you want, if you don't eat properly, it ain't gonna do nothing for you. Next up, my third meal. We have pasture-raised eggs, which I eat 2 of them, blueberries, 103 grams of this, and then 2 pieces of Dave's Killer bread. This is not a very high protein meal, so typically I'm either supposed to have egg whites, which I despise. I can do them for a little bit, but over time I get very sick of them. So instead, I like to do a protein shake. Typically, I'll do that after I finish all my food. When it comes to seasoning my eggs, I just use this nacho cheddar popcorn seasoning. This is literally all I use. It's just enough. It tastes great. Just use a little bit of here. And here we are. Made a little omelet. The bread, I just eat plain. I think it tastes good on its own. I don't need to add anything to it. And of course, the blueberries, very yummy.
No one could kill me. I'm more honestly than you. So do we have a deal? You'll give me the splicer as soon as...
Now for my protein shake flavor of choice right now is Formula 1 by First Form, their strawberry flavor. honestly, it just kind of tastes like Nesquik strawberry milk. It's fire. I love it. I don't use a lot of water, as you can see. This is a 25 gram shake. Using this amount, which is like 300 grams, seems to be about the sweet spot for keeping the flavor. And I love this protein too because it does not get chalky at all. Once again, if you want to get any of the products, use my link down below at the very top of the description. I'm gonna down this in like 2 seconds. Third meal is 558 calories, 49 grams of protein, 63 grams of carbs, and 16 grams of fat. Another great way to get your steps in. Bring your dog on a walk if you have one. I like to do this every day. Gets her outside. Walking on a treadmill, extremely boring. Much rather get outside, get some sunlight, some fresh air. So I technically have one more meal left for the day and a snack. Gonna go catch my workout right now. Just had a solid shoulder workout, burned about 500 calories. Pretty solid day, did 17,000 steps and burnt 2,400 calories. Super excited to have my fourth meal because it is my favorite meal of the day. It is beef and rice. Honest to God, if I could eat this all day, I would. I'll never get tired of this meal. We have 165 grams of ground beef, 93.7, 225 grams of jasmine rice. Honestly, I know it's probably irking you guys. I'm always over by like a gram or two, but sorry for that. Stirred that all together. I'm gonna heat it up. Now I'm gonna add ketchup and mustard. Make this like a little burger bowl. And last but not least, avocado. I love the avocado in this because when you mix it all in, it makes it a little bit of a creamier texture. 70 grams of avocado. It literally just said 70 on the scale and then decided to change right before I recorded. And completed. I wish I wasn't completed. I wish there was like a whole nother serving of this in here, but luckily I still have my last meal slash snack of the day. Before we get to that, real quick, this meal was 710 calories, 50 grams of protein, 71 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of fat. The final snack of the day is actually a really fun one. Consists of yogurt and some fruit. And also I get a little bit of chocolate, dark chocolate to be specific. So we have plain Greek yogurt, blueberries, and some frozen bananas. So we do 150 grams of yogurt, 83 grams of blueberries, and 60 grams of banana. And then I also get a serving of this organic dark chocolate. I got a variety pack, so there's a bunch of different flavors in here. Let's see what flavor I got. Salty dark chocolate. I've had this one before, it's really good. Ingredients are really good. Organic cacao, organic unrefined coconut sugar, organic cocoa butter, and some sea salt. Very minimal ingredients. So one serving is half the bar. There's 2 servings in a bar. Gram measurement, this is about 30 grams. So now I just stir this all up. And as you can see, the only real sugar that I get in my diet is mainly coming from fruit. I mean, other than the chocolate, it's very minimal. This was just recently implemented in my diet, not too long ago, so I've been loving it.
Now you can't use those things against me anymore.
That snack was 378 calories, 20 grams of protein, 44 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of fat. For the entire day, this comes out to 3,200 calories, 245 grams of protein, 390 grams of carbs, 74 grams of fat. Fiber's at 34, still slacking a little bit. So in that case, there's one last thing that I do for the night, and that is my fiber shake. All right, so we got a lot of stuff going on over here. To start it off, I use aloe vera juice, 2 ounces of this. 210, 16 ounces of water. Glutamine, 10 grams. Greens powder.
Is there fiber in those greens?
Yeah, there's a little bit. 1 gram of fiber. Reds powder. Fiber. I'll get like another 10 grams of fiber out of this. And last but not least, collagen. This is really good for your skin, hair, and nails. Over time, when we get older, our body doesn't produce nearly as much collagen, so it's really good to supplement it. Scoop it in. Now we're just gonna shake this all up. Right before we sip on this, we do a ½ ounce shot of apple cider vinegar. This helps a lot with digestion. So obviously, I just ate a ton of food. I literally just had over 1,000 calories in that setting. So let's go ahead with that. There we go, ½ ounce on the dot. So the apple cider vinegar shot can be a little harsh. So as soon as I'm done this, I'll just instantly chase it with the fiber shake. There we go. This actually tastes really good, but I just like to chug it and get it over with. Yeah, that's literally everything I do throughout the day. This is an every single day routine. Now you guys have a better idea of what I've been doing the past couple months. Definitely gonna stick with this. On top of my vitamins, on top of my workout, on top of my water intake, I've taken about 2 gallons of water a day. On top of my cardio, obviously on top of the food. We got everything in place to give my body the most perfect environment to allow growth. So as long as we keep doing this over time, that consistency and hard work will pay off. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that thumbs up button. I hope that some of you were able to learn something today. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.